Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wizards Outlook. Joined tonight, it's Raymond Lyons, by Raymond Lyons. I'm Wilson Tarver Jr. And let's get into it, Ray. We know what happened last night against the Lakers. LeBron goes for 50. That said, it felt like last night's game was more winnable than tonight's game. Kind of speaks volumes if it's even possible, right? Not trying to be funny, but yeah, before we start down this wonderful rabbit hole that is Washington's performance tonight. Quick word from my folks over at Ooze and Us. Look, man, open for late night, Fridays and Saturdays. After watching this game, you might need one, not sure. Order your favorites until 12 a.m. at Georgia Avenue, 1 a.m. for those that frequent U Street. All right, Ray, you got first crack at this, man. They lost. Josh Hart gets a career high, 44 points. The Blazers beat the Wizards 127-118. And, I'll just set the table for what's next for Washington. They wrap up this West Coast swing with the Golden State Warriors Monday night. Then they come home. They get no reprieve at all. One of the leading MVP candidates will be waiting to see them Wednesday as Nikola Jokic arrives with his team. So tonight with the Blazers, keep in mind, no Damian Lillard. No Anthony Simons. Yeah.
They just don't play defense, like plain and simple. And when you don't play defense, things like this happen. I mean, they started out the game, scorching hot. But, if you're just going to let the other team score as well, then, what good is it? I mean, that was if they'd have got stops with the way they were shooting early in the game, then they probably could have put a pin in this early, because they couldn't miss. But unfortunately, the Blazers couldn't miss either, and then and things just continued to snowball. And Josh Hart, man, he just got ridiculously hot, and and then he spread the wealth. He had a career night. The name's escaping me right now.
Trendon Watford is one of them.
Yeah, Trendon Watford had a career night. Eubanks had a career night. Like, come on, man. It's embarrassing, honestly. This was supposed to be the game where you get back on track. You drop 2 to the LA teams, 2 winnable games, but you're playing a young team with a plethora of injuries on a 6-game losing streak, and they're the ones that get back on track against you. You got to look at yourself in the mirror at this point, man. And like you said, the reason why this was the game to get back on track, but now you squandered this opportunity. Now you got 2 tough ones on Monday and Wednesday. So just go ahead and pencil those L's in right now, to be perfectly honest, because the Warriors got back on track tonight against Milwaukee. And then you got Denver, who, of course, has one of the leading MVP candidates. So, yeah, man, you didn't do yourself any favors by dropping this one. I mean, yeah, it was tough. It was tough to watch, man. No shade to Josh Hart, but he's not a 44 points guy. He's gritty. He does the little things. He plays defense. He's a good player, but he's not supposed to be the dude that puts your lights out.
He was tonight.
So, yeah, man, I don't have too much to say. It's just craziness. But yeah, man, they've put themselves in this position, and it is what it is. It's not much we can do about it.
You can't. And this is the thing. So you got beat like this. You shot 47 from the floor, 41 from 3, 96 from the line. That's what you shot. You would think, hearing numbers like that you fared pretty well in the game, like towards the game's outcome, right? Mind you, 14 turnovers. It's a little bit above league average or whatever. It's not an ugly number. It's not 17 or 22 turnovers like we've seen at times in the last couple years. Again, offensively. But remember those numbers I just read? Here's what the Blazers shot for the game: 51.6% from the floor. For the game, 51.6. Missing an all-world guard, and then one that is well on his, someone with that, someone whose stock is rising. I think it's fair to say for Anthony Simons. The arrow's pointed up. Like that's nuts, man. Like honestly, it's crazy. But again, defense. There's nothing else to add. Just defense, whether it be transition or in a half court. It's something we talk about. Like, I don't care who's coaching. You come up with the greatest schemes in the world, but if you don't want, like, you have, I can't make you feel some type of way about someone putting 40 on your head. That's not in the top 10, top 20 in the league in scoring. And again, I'm not trying to, this has nothing to do with Josh Hart. It's just saying, like, you can stomach 50 to Bron to a degree, but even then, like, you shouldn't have been able to stomach it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you follow it up after that with this. You had Horton Tucker walking around last night screaming in people's faces. And then you follow it up against, like you said, on this trip, these young Blazers just out here playing. Like, I don't know how many of these is really going to be here next year. And I'm not trying to be funny. As they add to their team and figure out what they're doing and whatnot. Like, again, Dame and Anthony Simons in street clothes. What was this? And shout out to Trendon Watford, Drew Eubanks, and company for coming out here. And how did the team in the midst of a 6-game losing streak come out here playing hungrier and more desperate? And again, like, that's a lot, man. That's a whole lot. So it's like we could talk about all these other things, but right, these dudes, what they did tonight, how can you not feel some type of way? And if they did it, man, Clay just had 38 and looked like Clay for the first time since he's been back tonight. Mm-hmm. I know this has nothing to do with tonight, but man, and like you just said, three of us talk all the time, talk with y'all as well. The Wizards this season have literally been the team that allows other teams to recalibrate.
Right.
Like, not to be funny, but like Jason Tatum, this run that he's been on, everybody remember? Like, just to wind the clock back a little bit, right? Like, come on, man. The Lakers out here struggling. And last night, for one night in LA, everything was fun and happy. And, like, someone has to feel some type of way about it. Like, some type of disdain for it. And it doesn't feel like that. And we appreciate y'all that are in the comments or whatever. We're going to get to y'all in just a little bit. Look, man, I got to put this up there, even though, Josh Hart, and shout out to Josh Hart, say Will and friends and whatnot. Did you have a rebuttal, sir? I'm forced to ask. It's part of the show. So.
Not at all.
All right, cool. There's a myriad of options here. I went with Trendon Watford just because I was almost incensed for Wizards players that the fact that he was down there posting up and big boying folks at time. And again, I was waiting for someone to feel some type of way, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'll go with Wofford, man.
You don't have to. There's other options, man.
I mean, he was the second leading scorer, so I'll ride with it, man. But and yeah, between him and Eubanks, they just bullied.
Okay, like, so I got one better for you. Would you like to take a stab at what my man's averaging per game this season? Watford, that is. And again, this isn't shaming any player. This is just, again, talking about the lack of resistance.
Yeah, I got no idea. I was like 7-4.
You said 4?
7-4.
7-4. Okay. Look, man. You said 7-4?
Yeah.
You're generous. 5.7 and 3.7 in those departments.
Wow.
And again tonight, big night. Tonight he had more points. KCP had a good night offensively. Again, several other people had decent nights offensively, but defensively, like it doesn't matter if Matter of fact, KCP goes for 26, Kuz goes for 22, Wofford goes for 27, and Drew Eubanks goes for 20. And that's keeping Hart out the equation. Him and his 44 just out the equation. It's not a good look, man. And again, like the only Wizards player that I felt at least was out there trying on both ends was Kispert. I want to feel like more people are. But
yeah, they got to figure that other end out, man, because they're not gonna win many games like this.
Again, you got some heavy man. You have to go to the Chase Center on Monday. And both of the old heads are coming back supposedly. You getting Dre and Iggy back on Monday. But we'll get into some of these comments. Like one of the things you say all the time, there's no reason to spend too much time on something. So take a page from you. We're not gonna do that, man. And we got at least one more 10 p.m. start time. Not gonna do it. Shea came in here in the second quarter. Can't watch it anymore, and it's the second quarter.
Yeah, that's when it started to get ugly. Like Josh Hart had 2 separate runs of 11 straight points. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, you're right. Area 11T, player of the game, defense. Oh wait, he's not. Talk about West needs to start benching dudes when they play half behind defense, regardless of who they are. I mean, that's the thing. Right now, none of them are playing defense.
Yeah, like
so I don't know who's like. That's the sad part right now. Is I guess like the bright spot is they're doing it as a team. I guess like it's a team wide issue. Like as a whole, you get little isolated spurts from individuals at times, but nothing resembles a team on both ends working together on that end of the floor. And that's what's frustrating because even, man, that was an issue pre-trade deadline, still an issue post-trade deadline. Like that end of the floor has to matter. And yeah, I don't know, Ray. Like you said, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. All I can do is laugh. Same here. You know what I mean? Look,
yeah,
man.
this is a stress-free zone, man. Like,
yeah. And the sad part, this one's almost easier to take in than the Lakers one. Because again, this one, like the first Josh Hart run let you know what time it was. The second one confirmed it. No, I'm not gonna lie, like it confirmed it. And then Wofford and the company got going. It was like, all right, this is what type of night it's gonna be. The Wizards cut into the lead. I think at some point near the start of the fourth, it was almost manageable, but you needed to get consistent. You needed to stack stops, and
hold up. So what? Let me. Yeah, at 10:18, I texted y'all in the group chat. The Wizards gonna lose this game, ain't they?
Yeah, 10:18. So you beat Shea to it.
I mean, I could just tell, like, it was because they started off, they made like their first 4 shots.
Yep.
Then after that, things started rearing their ugly heads, and I was like, yeah, I see where this is going.
And then
what's my man name? Williams.
Yeah, Brandon Williams.
Yeah, he's just confident and handling the ball and getting to the rack. I'm like, yeah, okay.
He was 4-15 and unbothered by it because he didn't care. Like he was just like, "Oh, next one's going in." Like, and again, you have another thing about young teams. Like they checked every box of things that you say to be wary of. They checked all the boxes tonight in the wrong place. You say, "Don't let young teams hang around. Don't ever give young teams confidence." And they gave them confidence. They skipped the hang around part. Oh man. I mean, the tough part about this is I can't tell you that I'm not ready to go that far because what we do know is there's effort on one end and not effort on the other. So I can't tell you schematically that something's broken. What I can tell you is I know whatever it is, they're not executing it. It doesn't. There's no execution on that end. So I mean,
yeah, the only way I'll put most of this on West is if he's in practice telling them to do what they're doing on the floor, which I'm 1,000% confident he's not,
You mean
because
like not talk?
right.
Overhelp, leave your man, leave your feet, never see ball, you man, all that stuff. Yeah. It's crazy, man. Time to start looking at draft prospects. Look, man, it's we've been saying all year. It was up to them, and right now, that same end of the floor that we talked about all last year, all this year, you know, we can only discuss what they bring to the table, and nothing's being brought on the table. Oh, Area 11, see, this where you at with it?
Well, the last time we saw Harden, they were him.
Oh, Shay, I'm sorry, I missed this one. As long as we have vets, I prefer a young team. Yeah, like I'm just at a place where I just want someone to feel some type of way about getting scored on. Please. Well, not just someone, but multiple someones. Like it's look, man, we're in an alternate universe where this team doesn't play defense as a whole. And we watch Kyrie Irving sit in a defensive stance for almost half a game this week. And I was shocked, mouth just ajar, watching the television screen because my mind couldn't process it. Meanwhile, we got this going on over here, and I just don't get it. But again, it's that time of the year where, folks some teams are trying to get right to make a run. And other teams, this is why you might be in the lottery once again, because it's not taking care of things. Shay, again, the Wiz need to choose a pathway. I mean, so far, the pathway they have chosen is the least resistance on the defensive end of the floor. They got to figure that out. But I get what you're saying with the pathway. I don't know. That's why the Bill thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so man.
Y'all know where I stand on it. So
it's time to cut the cord, man.
I think Kuz's heart is still in LA. He's not really about the Wiz. I don't even know if it's that much. I just think sometimes, like, it's one of those things where it's like, sometimes you might want something, then you get it and realize maybe it's not all you cracked up to be. Like, I'm sure he wanted to be like the focal point of a team or whatever, but it's one of those things where everybody's not built to carry. You know what I'm saying? Like, to lead a franchise or something like that. And that's not I don't personally take that as an indictment on Kuz or anything. It's just, that's what's tough. That's why the organizations that have cultures, like, it's so important when you get that right person that you hold on dearly. You hold on dearly, because when you have that, if the person at the top is everything they're supposed to be, half of this stuff the coach doesn't have to worry about. It's self-policed.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a trickle down effect.
Because how can you be out there being half behind on either end when they have no reason? They got every reason to be tired, etc. And they're doing what they need to do. So I mean, that's the thing, man. That's the hard part about culture. That's the hard part about, like, and I know it's something we talk about around here all the time, when people kind of pick and choose folks that should be elevated to be in that conversation or on certain levels or tiers or what have you, is all, like, there's other stuff that has to be taken into consideration outside of just their on-court skill set or whatever. And it goes a long way. You can look around the league. There's some people can go team to team and kind of establish a culture. Some people, they need to be led. And right now, they need to be led. They're not able to, like, I think I said rudderless earlier this year. I haven't really left that place. And this is what rudderless teams do. There's no consistency. There's ups and downs. There's nothing to fall back on. Like, for example, we talk about going to state or whatever. They've been up and down with Dre being out or what have you, right? But the culture, the things that are set, you got guys like tonight, Steph getting the defense's dude sees or whatever. He's not pouting about getting 3 shots because Drew Holiday decided we're walking around the court hand in hand tonight. He's like, hey, y'all cook. It's 4-4. Cool. Just what it is. He could force it, but he doesn't. Like, there's a culture in place there. And that's how they're able to stay afloat and things of that nature. even what's it called? We saw it, look at Milwaukee. I was laughing at them, over the couple years or whatever. This year they've had all members of their big three in and out the lineup, and they're right back in the thick of things, being who they are. But again, like, how can anybody in Milwaukee complain with a top dog Giannis? Man, wake up hungry. Like, want a chip and he's hungrier. So, you can't. Like, I mean, you can if you want to. I wish you the best in getting playing time or surviving, but over there. But I don't know. Shay got a question for you. She wants to know, would you rebuild in the summer?
Rebuild. They need to build.
Yeah.
Like,
they got a couple pieces, but they need that. They're missing those foundational things. And again, that goes with the thing we were talking about, the culture setters. Area 11 T, he's over it. We need to get rid of everybody want to play defense. I don't care if we only got 3 people on the team and this is just getting old. Hey, look, I feel like you feel.
Yeah, this has been a thing for about 4 years now. So
through different regimes, through different boy, I ain't going there. But yeah, there's some things got to change, and that's up to them to make decisions. It's none of my business, and that's that. There was a time when some people, no matter what was going on here, no matter what was going on, you knew they at least were going to show up and compete. And folks would answer to it no matter what happened. Those days have passed. We are where we are right now, currently rudderless, and you take from that what you will. That's all I got. Oh, yeah, y'all had enough tonight. Pray them all. I think what was my man Anthony Tony that was out here yesterday talking about yesterday's loss was the worst loss or whatever. Look, it's a new day. Look where we're at.
The basement gets lower repeatedly. So
we don't need to build around anybody if they're a top 2-way player. Look, I don't even need them to be a top 2-way player. I just need them to value that end of the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, just value it. Like, all right, so like, what's it called? You got I don't want to keep bringing them up. I'm trying to think of a different team. What's another team? Because I was about to say the words again. I'm trying to stop bringing them up. Another team, right? I'm trying to think of another team where you got tone setters.
Like Miami.
Yeah, okay, Miami, whatever, right? Jimmy joined them or whatever, but before Jimmy got there, you had Bam. Since Bam got there, you knew exactly what time it was. Whatever they add or whatever they change, we all know the most important thing there is Bam Adebayo. And we saw the news about Tyler getting stuff like the tone that's set when you have guys like that. That's why it's easy for Tyler to come off the bench as a super sub. Can't really complain, man. I gotta do my job. It is what it is. That culture it allows you to. We see Gabe Vincent, Max Strauss, things like that. Like, but again, we knew what do we know? Death taxes. You have to defend there. It is what it is. We watched the turnaround with the Celtics this year. Literally, what was their difference? At some point, they got tired of losing. Hey, look, maybe we should listen to Coach Udoka. He been harping on his defensive thing. Oh my goodness. They started carrying on that end of the floor. Like, I mean, really buying in. And
they ain't looked back since.
Man, they've been a whole new team. Everybody had jokes for the first 20 games of the year or whatever. Man, you got to break up the Jays. Something's wrong. Nah, they just wasn't playing defense. Your 2 best players were super capable of playing defense. just not doing it. And then, all of a sudden, they lock in, and what happens?
Right. And like, it's not enough superstars to go around, man. Everybody's not going to have one. You can do it by committee, but like you said, it's just about the culture and expectations. Like you can't just have to have one of those tier 1 guys, because it ain't many of them. It definitely ain't 32 of them. So don't bank on getting one of those, especially in a city like that's not a prime free agent destination. So you just got to play basketball as a team, man, and everybody got to be on the same page. So and that's what's lacking here. Like, this team is fully capable of what they have on the roster. If everybody locked in, because we've seen it in stretches. Like we saw it to start the season. But yeah, things have have changed drastically since then. But yeah, man, you just gotta hold yourself accountable. And and if you compete, then 9 times out of 10 things work out. You're not going everybody's not promised to win a championship, but you're not gonna look like this. This is just not competing and not carrying on one side of the floor. And that's how you find yourself 3 games out the play in. So, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Area 11T said Jimmy was their tone setter who only won dogs on the team, which elevated Bam's play. I think two things could be true. I don't necessarily fully agree. I do think Jimmy definitely helped. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Jimmy definitely elevated, but, we knew where Miami was. It kind of go up and down with a couple things. You had kind of like D-Wade, like, finally fully leaving their franchise after coming back and everything else. Bam got drafted in 2017. But, yeah, like, again, they have a culture. They know there's a certain type of guy that they want. And they somehow, that old man tries to find a way to get folks that embody what it is that they want. So it's huge. We don't got no leadership and selfish vets. I mean, look, man, I know where I stood. I was cool with stamping on the big red button before the season started. I knew where I was.
It was there, man. It was there, and it should have been pressed.
Man, I would have danced on the red button. It is what it is. Because at least for me personally, I'd rather just like if I'm gonna start, let me start from ground zero. Give me nothing but pups. Where instead of like what we have post deadline, where clearly there was a change, a shift in the team, you could have had that for most of the year and think about how much further the kids would have been.
Mm-hmm.
Where like the message would have came through clear. But yeah, like you said, the vets, like they got to get the right folks around, man. And it's huge. Like you mentioned, Jimmy. Jimmy was huge for that. It was another louder voice and a one of the better players, one of the better players in the league to come in and kind of like hammer home that, and you don't have it. And that's why I've been against like always want players to go get their money and what have you. But for me personally, like when it starts this max stuff or whatever, I'm real specific about who I hand that out to.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me personally, because if I'm gonna hand that out, I'm gonna need you to do what we saw in Philly the other night. We can say those two dudes are incredibly weird on Brooklyn. Say a whole lot of things. I saw a team play defense. I saw a team fully locked into a man. I saw folks follow the guys that they pay to lead them to a man, top to bottom. So I mean that's the thing, man. Like Ray said, those types of dudes don't grow on trees, what have you. But you know what you can do in the meantime? Establish that culture, man. Folks that ain't trying to get, if you know it's somewhere you want to go, folks ain't trying to get there, it is what it is. Like look at Cleveland. Look at young Cleveland. Bickerstaff was over there like, look, we're going to develop culture and identity. It is what it is. Whole bunch of young pups, and a couple years later, where they at? You get somebody so freakishly gifted and talented like Mobley, but he slides into a situation where we play defense here. It's defense first here. Mm-hmm. And he's already a dude who wants to play defense, but like that's the bar. Like the floor on the ground level, bare minimum, we coming in, we're going to strap. We're going to strap and we're going to run. We'll figure out the other stuff later. And look, man, it helps. Even freaking is I know it's they're definitely not on level Cleveland is, but like I low key like where Orlando is, where Mosley and company are down there. Yeah, they don't have the like. I think Terrence Ross is kind of like their vet down there or whatever, even though he's not super old. But like I kind of like their coach. I kind of like their direction. And we saw once Kel came back, like Kel was something that they needed in terms of floor general or whatever. And that's something like, and that's another thing. This plate, until they probably get that right, it's going to be one of those things. Here we go. Players can't show their qualities at this style. That's why it's a coaching problem. Gav can't show his abilities. Then he can't show his ability. Yeah, I disagree with their abilities. Like, I think a lot of their abilities come from being in transition. And you can't get in transition when you don't get stops. You know what I'm saying? Like that's some of it. And we've talked about all year, like the problem with the bigs. Like there's times when they're open, like guards got to get their heads up and move the ball. there's a lot of times where like it kind of feels like sometimes folks are trying to get theirs or whatever, and it's tunnel vision at times. Like I feel for the biggest a lot on this team. There's times they set a good screen or whatever, they roll to the basket. Guard is not thinking about them. Insert random ball handler, just not thinking about them. Play musical chairs and it applies across.
Yeah, they got that man sealed, numbers, whole chest showing.
Man, whole chest showing. Arm up, you know what I'm saying? Got the little guy tucked away back here, and a bad shot gets taken. Like, and I'll give Ish credit for that. Like, at least when he drives, he's looking for the lob for the big, what have you. But I think a lot of it is, man, like, look, it's tough because this is what we're talking about. Them missing that person is a different story. Not to be rude, I know it's a name y'all don't want to hear about or whatever, you know. Talked about Mr. Dinwiddie or whatever. No slides on over to Luka and company, and life's a little easier. But Luka's one of those guys that we talk about where, of course, life's gonna be easier. The whole floor shifted towards them. You know, like it's matter of fact, what's it called? We watched Seth Curry with Philly and Seth Curry with Brooklyn. Which Seth Curry looks more dangerous or gets lost more? People lost track of him way more in Brooklyn. It's been 2 weeks. Floor is tilted. More other people on the court. There's more. You got bigger problems.
Other stuff to worry about.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, again, like I said, I've been where I was on it, and it is what it is. But it sucks, man, because it's tough. That's why I said I need to get rid of Bill because he has too much say within the organization. But again,
big red button, man. Big red button.
Man. Thank you, Ray, because before I say something, man, big red button, man. I wish I had a little gift to put on screen in here. Because, like, for me personally, like, I think, again, like, if you're a rookie coming to any organization, whatever the sport is, whatever, right? Obviously, the guys that are the guys that are the guy in an organization has so much say, or whatever it may be. One is a rookie, like, your voice doesn't matter. Okay, let's keep it bucket. You're irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Unless you're drafted that high where like it's already ground zero and you are the guy, then it's a different story. You get to the world is yours already. You know, you're Zion, you're Ja, something like that. The world, you're Derrick Rose when he came out, where it's a wasteland and there's you. There's a quick, like there's the hierarchy was when you walked across the stage and shook that man's hand, you was the most important person. It's a different type of thing. But outside of that, like it's getting where you fit in, and like Area 11T with the say within the organization is kind of wild. Because again, just me personally, like some people shouldn't have all that. Everybody doesn't need to have all that. And even some of the upper tier guys, like they get some trouble. Some of the guys who I have no issue, who have to have earned that, have the sweat equity for that, the talent level for that. That's not always the best thing in the world either. So I mean, yeah, it's tough, man. We'll see what they end up doing. I appreciate you saving me, Ray, with the big red button. Though. I appreciate it. But yeah, man, it's gonna be tough. They got you said, man, you got Golden State on Monday, you got Denver on Wednesday. And no disrespect to the Blazers. When Anthony Simon's out, the kids on both the next teams a little bit different. Like because of the cultures that they're in. Like even the kids on Denver, like Denver got one of those guys. So look at what they've been this season. They lost all the guys in between their guy and the bottom of the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they at? 6. Not even playing, just above the line. Like, now I'm gonna get some rest. We're gonna let them dudes fight, and then hopefully I get my guys back. But look where he has them at. There's no excuses. He doesn't have that many vets over there like that. Like it's crazy. Like that's why I was happy. I was happy during the stints, like when they had Uncle Jeff here, when they had Paul here, things like that. And you don't have those anymore. Like there's vets in the sense of people that have been in the league, and there's vets in the sense they have positive impact on your team.
Right.
And I think that's the best thing. You got anything else, right?
Nah.
All right. We appreciate y'all as always. We'll check with y'all Monday night. You know, hopefully to be, optimism would be higher. Because I feel bad when we come in here and y'all are going through it. So it'll be tough, but we appreciate you. Area 11T, Shay. You're gonna have to tell me how to break down your name one day. OBJ to Don. So I always want to read the whole thing at once and butcher it. So again, we appreciate you all. We will see you Monday night, hopefully for the last 10 p.m. start time in quite a while.